Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Forex Lessons with Sibusiso Mtiniso. My name is Sibusiso, and in today's video I'll be sharing with you guys how I master support and resistance, and then after we are done doing that, I'll be doing also an update analysis on XAU USD, which is gold, and US 30, which is Dow Jones. So without wasting any further time, let's go into the charts, and then we're gonna talk about the support and resistance. So in the previous video, we have explained what was support and resistance. So we said that support is when the price is being prevented to go below this zone. That is a certain zone. If you can see here in the drawing that I drew here, so see here the price here is being prevented to go below this area here, this rectangular section here, and then the resistance is when the price is being also resisted to go above that area. So if you haven't watched that video, don't worry, there's gonna be a link here in the description here. Make sure that you click that link there so that you can get to see the definition, or so that you can get to understand what support and resistance actually mean when the price is actually being prevented on the support and resistance resisted on the resistance area. So let's now jump into how I actually draw my support and resistance. So the first thing that I do is that when I draw support and resistance, I don't go back into what was happening like in the previous years. So the first thing that I go to is that I go to my weekly time frame, and then the only focus that I'm looking at to draw support and resistance, it's only what happened last year. That is, I only focus on what happened like 12 months ago, right? That is last year, which is now we're in 2021. So I start looking at what was happening in 2020, but what I'm currently looking at, so what I like mainly focus on is what is happening to when it, like closer to the market. So if I'm saying last year, that is in 2020, I won't focus on this area here, for example, because that's not where the price is at, but I will gladly focus on what is happening here, because that's where the price is closer at. So how do I do this? So when I'm looking at this market here, looking at the weekly time frame, you can see that the price here, it was resisted here, it went to the upside, and then when it came back here, it was somehow prevented to go below, that is to continue to go into the downside. So it went to the upside. So to see this clearly, we can see here on a daily time frame here that our price here was being prevented to go to the downside, and then here it was being resisted to go to the upside up until it broke here and then continued going to the upside. So meaning these areas here are the areas of my support, right, and resistance. Okay, and then now the way that I draw them, so now I'm going to go to the 4-hour time frame and actually show you how do I actually draw them, because here I just showed you the zones, but now I need to actually show you how do I actually draw into what is currently happening, that is into the current market. So going on a 4-hour time frame, that's where I actually draw my support and resistance. So you can see here, if I can just go back there, if I can just from this a place here, and if I can go to the 4-hour, you can see there that the support and resistance that we do there, they are actually touching these points here. But looking at this support and resistance, see here, this support here is too big, and this resistance here is too big, that I can even miss putting entries there. So that is why it is important that I draw them on a 4-hour, because in a 4-hour I'll be able to draw them quite easily. Then there will be smaller support and resistance. But the way that I draw them is that I draw the support. You can look here, let me just go closer here. If you're looking at the support here, I'm drawing it only on the shadows, that is on the lower shadow of the king stick. You can also see here there's another lower shadow here of the king stick, and then for the resistance I draw it again on the lower shadow, on the upper shadow, sorry, this time on the upper shadow of the king stick there. But now if you're looking at this here, the problem is that here we made a breakout here and then it somehow reversed there. So which is now, if I want to draw this thing, if I want to make sure that it's more accurate, I need to go to the 1 hour time frame also, just to tweak this one a bit. Okay, and then also that one to move it to the upside a bit, and then tweak it like that. Okay, so that's basically how I draw my support and resistance. So you can see here, this rectangle here, that is the support here, is not like it's not too big. It's a support that is easy for me. That's gonna help me to enter into the market like early. And then also here you can see that the resistance here, it's gonna help me to enter into the market like much more earlier. So that's basically how I draw my support and resistance. But if you have anything, or if you have any ideas of how I can also improve the way that I draw my support and resistance, please make sure that you comment on the on the comment below, and make sure that you actually you give me your ideas of how I can actually draw other support and resistance. So moving on to another types of support and resistance that I draw is what we call minor supports and minor resistance. So remember guys, I don't wait for, because of I drew my support here and there, I don't wait for the market to actually go up until it gets to the support to buy, and then up until it gets to the resistance, up until it gets to the resistance, yes, to sell. So there's also other kind of support and resistance that we call minor support and minor resistance. For example, you can see here the price here, it went to the upside, and then somehow here it was being prevented to go below again. That is, kept going to the upside every time it reached this area, went to the upside. See here, went to the upside, there, upside, the upside, upside. So this was actually what we call the minor support. So I actually also draw other kinds of support and resistance, and then this one we call it the minor support and resistance. So this is how I actually draw this one. You can see there that previously there's that lower shadow that I told you about, that we spoke about earlier. So that's the lower shadow there, but you can see that it's being, every time we get to this area here, it was being prevented to go below, went to the upside, upside, upside. You see that? So that's also one of the things that I draw on the market when I'm actually trading. So these are gonna help me to put in scale ins, and also to be able to take profits, because because the market, because of, we know that the market doesn't go straight to our support and resistance. We know that the market, when the market is moving, there's points where it reverses and go to the upside, and sometimes have times to actually take time to get to the major support. So that is why now we have minor supports, because minor supports help us to actually find the profits that to actually find the points where the market is more likely to reverse into the market, right? So for example, now if I'm looking for the minor support into what is currently happening, this is going to be my minor support, right? And then now I can't have a minor resistance in this analysis, because there is also a major resistance there. In looking at this area here, like it won't be, it's gonna be too much for it's gonna be too much of an analysis for me to actually see what and it's gonna it's gonna confuse me to actually miss what the market is currently doing, right? So for me, it's not that much to draw so much support and resistance. But usually when I can see that the market is dropping, what I usually draw when the market is dropping is the minor support. Then when the market is going to the upside, is the minor resistance, because that is going to help me to find, first of all, it's going to help me to find the first take profits. That is when the market is going to the upside. If you're talking about the minor resistance, and also chances to scale in should the market break that minor resistance. Same applies into support. It's going to be first take profit when the market is dropping, and then also another scale in, that is when the market is pushing to the major support there. So that's it for the support and resistance, and also for the also for the minor support and resistance.